now we can do more of like an official educational run. So I'm gonna do the best I can to, like, I guess vocalize my thought process and like why I'm doing certain things, and I'll try to do the best I can to remember all of the little stuff. A good chunk of what I'm probably gonna say is going to be stuff that I already talked about in my guide video, my waves, my 1 through 11 waves guide video. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend watching that. There's gonna be a few basic things I'm just gonna assume people know. Like, for example, knowing that you gotta start here, like this, the initial approach type stuff. Almost every guide video mentions the same exact starting tile. Anyways, let's get started. I'm pot up with my heart. One thing people need to understand too is that your combat levels matter a lot. They matter way more compared to your gear. Those make the biggest difference. My quick prayers for reference are also Pray Mage and Augury. This is because of the fact that I like to freeze the Fremenics at the very beginning, and more often than not, the Majors are the ones who don't get frozen. Being able to pray against them makes it so I don't have to worry about taking damage most of the time. And I have Augury on just to help guarantee I can land the freezes more often. But as soon as I land the freeze, I take off Augury and I just approach it one-on-one. Over there, I'm going to choose Blasphemy. My freeze ready. As soon as this mailer goes down, I'm going to switch to my ranged weapon, which in this case is my Shadow. We'll take out the Ranger. Nice. Take off Augury. Now we'll just pick them off one by one. I was kind of hoping I could kill him there, but I splashed a couple times. I almost skipped the melee. Oh well. Prayer's ready. We got Quartet, Blasphemy, and Totemic. We'll get Quartet. Wait till number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice. Get the freeze ready. So when I freeze, I always try to click on the archer, the ranger, because they always clump up like this. If you click on the ranger. There we go. Very nice. I will just DPS the major down. Now, as a rule, because I'm using mostly magic as my primary source of DPS in the Coliseum, for at least these runs, if you're doing a first KC run, as a rule, I always try and stand 2 tiles away from everybody. That way, in the event that they have volatility, like if I just forget about it, I don't have to worry about it because I'm already 2 tiles away. Volatility will always explode at a maximum of 2 tiles away. So even Volatility 3 will only explode 2 tiles away from the enemy at most. Max. These pillars give you just enough room to avoid all the volatility. So let's say for example, I'm sure right here, assuming we have volatility 3, if this meleeer, the warrior, ends up exploding, I would be fine where I'm standing right now. I could kill him from here with no prayers and not have to move, and I won't get hit by the explosion. That's honestly kind of why in my tier list of all the modifiers and whatnot, I rated volatility so highly for a mostly mage setup in Coliseum, because you're killing them from a distance anyways. You can safely just not get hit. So I'm going to choose volatility here. So we have volatility, Manta Mayhem, and Doom. I'm choosing volatility basically because of what I explained before. That it's basically a free invocation if you are using a mostly magic setup. I got my spells ready. There we go. Volatility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Get my freeze ready. I'm clicking on the ranger. I got basically everybody. These 2 tiles right here, this tile right here, the number 2, is just far away enough that if they had volatility 2 or 3 on, I would be far away enough to not get hit by the explosion, assuming I freeze them all right here like I just did. What's my reinforcement for this? It's melee. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just take out... Oh, there's a ranger in the back too. Good thing I noticed that. I'll just take out this melee real quick. So I don't have to worry about this melee again, because knowing how NPCs path, I knew from the get-go he was gonna get stuck in this corner against this pillar, because his head sees me, but his body's too big, so he's running into the pillar. So again, even if I end up choosing Volatility 2 later on, standing where I am standing right now, I will always be safe. For Volatility 2 or 3, I will always be safe at least 2 tiles away. Or a gap of 2 tiles, I guess I should say specifically. I guess technically I'm 3 tiles away. Alright, now I can just take care of these 2 rangers. Alright, we got Volatility 2, Reentry, and Frailty. I try to avoid these 2 as much as I can. I don't mind picking, like... I despise Reentry, first of all. I can play with Reentry 1, but I will never pick Reentry 2 or 3, just because I despise having the permanent lava pools. Because if I mess up, it could ruin my whole run, essentially, especially with how much I basically abuse this pillar the entire time. If I accidentally have lava pop up on like any of like these 3 tiles right here, I'm kind of screwed. So I despise picking Reentry 2 or 3 because of that reason. And because of the fact that Coliseum will always try to recommend the same invocations that you've already selected to you again, kind of like Volatility. I picked Volatility last time, and because it can level up, it will keep trying to recommend to me Volatility a good majority of the time. Long story short, my method for invocations is that if I try to only pick invocations that I'm at least okay with leveling up to level 2, if possible. Okay, so for example, I'm okay with playing with Solar Flare on levels 1 and 2, but I really don't like having it on level 3. So I still try to avoid having Solar Flare because it makes the boss fight easier. But if I had to pick Solar Flare, I'd be okay with it. Frailty is kind of in the same instance where I'm okay with playing at 80 HP. Do I like it? No, I kind of prefer some of the other invocations, but I could pick it. Reentry, on the other hand, I will never pick level 2, so I will absolutely avoid Reentry at all costs because I know it's going to keep getting recommended to me later on. So I try to pick ones that have at least level 2 that I'm okay with up to level 2. That way, in case I have to pick it, I'm okay with it. But anyways, we're gonna go with Volatility. Let's put on some prayers. Volatility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got a decent spawn. Click on the ranger. Okay, so we have Volatility 2. Okay. See, I will always be, as long as they stay frozen here. See, I will always be safe on this 2 tile. See, always just far enough away. That's what the 2 and 3 are for. So in this situation, okay, this guy's he's kind of far away. I can still hit him from here, but what I like to do is go to this left tile. It will almost always drag people in just a little closer, so it makes it easier to hit them. So that way, in the event that I have, let's say, Myopia enabled, they get dragged in just enough where I'll almost always be able to hit them. Okay, so for example, I'm like wasting my prayer just to explain this. It's fun though. So for example, I have the line of sight plugin enabled. This helps showcase to me, and as well in this case to you guys as well, what the range of my weapon is. Okay, so in this case, I have my shadow on long range, so that way I have a max range of 10 tiles. Okay, which is showcased by the line of sight plugin. So if I disable, for example, this is what you would see normally. This is my range of my my shadow right now. So let's say I had Myopia 3 on, for example, which reduces my range by 6. I would have... This would be my range of my shadow in that instance. All right. In that, if this were to occur, I would be forced to have to manual cast spells, because manual casting spells retains their maximum range of 10. It's the only thing that retains their maximum range of 10. Any ranged weapons or staves or auto casting, those are affected by myopia. But manual casting is the only thing that is not. So I could still manual cast against this guy if I wanted to. See? And I was fine. I clicked away just to help prevent making sure I don't try to auto cast by accident, and then I end up getting dragged away. I like to do that out of habit just in case, because I've gotten screwed over by that too many times. But in the event, so like this is 6, this is 8. So like let's say I had myopia 1, for example. If I had myopia 1, because of the way I dragged him in when I stepped over here earlier, now he's in range. Whereas previously, if I had myopia 1 and I had just stayed here, he would have been out of range. Just barely out of range. 2 tiles out of range. That's why I like to drag him in all the time. Just makes it a little easier. But anyways, I don't have myopia on, so I'm just gonna reset that. Just gonna go ahead and kill these guys one by one. If I wanted to, I could use my blood spells, my AoE spells, to like try and hit both these guys at the same time. Kind of similar to how you would a Venator bow, trying to hit multiple of them at the same time. It's personal preference. Again, I'm gonna be safe from the Volatility explosion here, because they only explode up to 2 tiles away, and I'm 3 tiles away. There we go. This is literally why I rate Volatility so highly. It's practically a free invocation if you're using a mostly magic or range setup. Because you can just stand 2 tiles away by default, and even if you end up forgetting about it, which is very common, you can kind of prevent yourself from getting hit. It's a good habit to build, in other words. Just prepare for it, just in case you forget about it. Alright, now we just got the Manticore left. I actually really like the Manticore. I think the Manticore is a really well-designed NPC. It like helps teach you a different way to prayer flick. Like one-tick prayer flicking. And it's intuitive too. That's what I like about it. It's much more intuitive. I'm actually gonna get in position for the start of the next wave on the starting tile. So I don't have to worry about rushing back to my tile as soon as he dies. Very nice. Ready for the next rave? Wave, not rave. Alright. Alright, we have Myopia. I'm gonna pick Myopia. Myopia is literally the best invocation in the entire Coliseum, hands down. Okay, if you're using a melee only setup, it literally just does not, it just doesn't affect you because you're using melee. If you're using magic, it basically doesn't affect you either, because at worst case scenario, you have manual casting to help offset any situations where maybe they're just barely out of range. You still have manual casting to help DPS them, to solve those waves. Is it the greatest DPS in the world? No, but it's a solution, and that's all we really care about. Unless you're trying to go for a speedrun Grandmaster task, who cares how long your runs take? At the end of the day, all you really care about is, can you get the kill? Can you get the KC on Soul? At the end of the day, and that's all that really matters. And I would probably argue that's all most people care about in the first place. But anyways, let's go ahead and pick Myopia. Oh, before I forget, one thing I like to do, just so I don't screw myself over, is before I pick Myopia, please make sure you open up your line of sight plugin, reduce your tiles by 2. That way when the wave starts, you can already see from the get-go what your effective range is, so you don't screw yourself over by accident and get dragged out of position. One, two, three, four, five. Right on the ranger. Now, I have to watch this manticore. So I'm not even looking at these guys anymore. I'm just looking at the manticore in terms of prayer. Okay? Because I know I'm safe from the explosion of these guys. Okay, I'm gonna go over here, lure the manticore in a little bit. Again, it helps with the myopia. Okay, now at this point, I'm actually gonna kill the manticore first. Because I'm praying against this guy already, so I don't have to worry about him. But because I knew the reinforcements were gonna come, if I killed the major first, or tried to kill the major first, he's gonna explode on me and it's just gonna be a pain in the ass. So I'm actually gonna kill all these other guys first. And I'm just gonna let this guy, like, bother me, essentially. Kill these guys first, so that way I'm safe from their explosions. Then once they're dead, then I'll kill this guy. That's my thought process for this situation. Get my boost up. I'm actually gonna heal off these guys real quick. Probably the biggest skill that comes from being able to do the wave successfully is... part of it is just simply having knowledge of the waves. That's probably the biggest hurdle people have. It's just simply lack of knowledge of the waves, aka lack of experience of the waves. There's not much you can do about that except just doing the content yourself and learning from them. You can get around it a little bit by watching other people and having an idea of the sense of it. Farmer, what's up, man? Thank you so much for this set. So now those guys exploded. I don't have to worry about their explosion anymore. Now I can come over here and do whatever I need to do to kill this guy from a distance. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can freeze him. All right, I got the freeze. Now we'll kill him. So I couldn't really do this earlier because I knew their reinforcement had a melee, the Jaguar. And if I came out this far, the Jaguar is obviously going to come up to me. And that's going to make my life not fun. Because now I'm worrying about trying to prayer flake melee against like mage and a manticore and whatnot. It just makes your life a whole lot harder than it needs to be. Okay, so all we have left is the ranger and the major. In this situation, what I always like to do first is see if I can do the wiggle. So the way I do the wiggle is I use these two tiles on the two corners of the pillar, and I try to go between them really fast. Sometimes they'll, like, again, wiggle the major out of position. Not all the time, but sometimes it does. So in this case, it doesn't work. So I wasn't able to wiggle the major. So in this instance, I'm actually going to use the swerve, where I stand on this tile, this corner of the pillar, put on my ranged weapon. I'm going to pray magic against this guy, against the one in the back, and we'll go over here. It does this thing. Again, I explained this in my video, if anybody hasn't watched it already. But it kind of makes it so that this guy in the front, he's like a deer in headlights, and he just like doesn't attack you for some reason. Why? I don't know, but it works. So you can kind of just focus on the dude in the back, and you can 1v1. You don't have to worry about having two different attack styles attacking at the same time. You can kind of force a 1v1. Honestly, probably my favorite solve and method in the entire Coliseum. There we go. Get ready for the next wave. So we got Myopia 2, Reentry, and Blasphemy 2. So this is actually great. So again, back to what I was saying before about always try to pick invocations that you don't mind leveling up further later on, at least up to level 2. So in this case, I actually love having Myopia and Blasphemy 3. Or not Blasphemy 3, Myopia and Blasphemy. Really good invocations. Out of these two, though, I'm going to choose Myopia because Myopia is the most free. It's the least detrimental. I try to avoid leveling up Blasphemy as often as possible. I don't mind. First of all, I'm totally okay with leveling it up. It doesn't really hurt me that much. But I try to avoid doing it as soon as possible, just because of the fact that on the off chance that I do mess up and I do lose prayer, I don't lose as much prayer. The idea is that you want to try and preserve as much of your prayer restoration, so like my restores in this case, so that way by the time you actually reach the boss fight, you still have a decent amount of restores. That's the idea. So if you can avoid leveling up Blasphemy as much as you can, it helps you, what's the word I'm looking for, sustain, I guess, your restores much better. Prolong them, there we go, that's the word. It helps prolong your restores a lot better, compared to what a lot of people will do, and this is kind of a newbie mistake, is people will just be like, oh, Blasphemy's free, I'm just gonna level up all the way up to level 3 straight from the get-go. But then when they start making mistakes in the early waves, like the first half of the waves, they start losing a lot of prayer because they're taking all this damage out of nowhere, even though it was just by accident. They still lost a lot of prayer, and by the time they actually reach the later waves, they have almost no restores left. So that's like a common mistake people will tend to make. So I try to avoid leveling it within the early waves, and it's in the later waves that would be more okay with leveling it up. Anyways, so there we go. Get that ready. Do I need almost? Myopia. Oh, again, remember, adjust line of sight plugin before actually selecting Myopia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a ranger over there, so I'm gonna get ready for that. Freeze the ranger friendly. Very nice. Turn off augury, I don't need it anymore. Very nice. Now again, I'm gonna go over here, lure him in just a tad bit. There we go. You see what I mean? He's in range now. Now, even if I had Myopia 3 on, he would still be in range. He would guarantee be in range every single time if I had Myopia 3. Just because I was able to drag him in just a tad bit. It is worth noting that when you're picking Myopia, you should have a mental note of what the attack range of your weapon is, because not every weapon has an attack range of 10. Just keep that in mind. Most bows and pretty much any magic weapon that auto cast spells has an attack range of 10, but magic staves and crossbows don't always have an attack range of 10. Keep that in mind. And a lot of the times you actually have to make sure they're on long range to even get their max range of 10. Such as, for example, my shadow. The shadow has a max range of 10 if it's on long range. If it's not on long range, I think it's on I think it's a range of like 9 or 10 or 8 or 9. I want to say 9 off the top of my head. But yeah, just keep that in mind. If you don't know what your weapon's range is, just look it up on the wiki. All right, so this is actually an easy solve. I can easily 1v1 everyone here. So we'll kill the jaguar first. Again, I don't have to worry about the explosion because by default, I always stand 3 tiles away. All right, so from here, I can choose to either 1v1 the Manticore or 1v1 the Ranger. I'm gonna kill the Ranger first because they're a little bit more annoying in my personal opinion. In a 1v1, they're more annoying. Alright, he's dying there. Trade mage. Now, in this instance, there's actually a couple ways I could do this. I'm stating this just because sometimes it helps in later waves. It's not necessary right now, but it's good to know. So, the mages right now, I could easily just kill the mages right now if I wanted to, okay? They're body blocking the Manticore. The way Collision works in RuneScape is that NPCs will not occupy the same space as each other because of their collision hitbox. Their hitbox has a collision. I don't know. If you don't know like game dev terminology, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. Basically, they won't stand on top of each other. However, that changes where if you happen to step on top of them, that breaks their collision and makes it so that not only it makes it so that other NPCs can also walk through them temporarily. So, for example, I could showcase here. In this instance, I'm actually gonna step behind the pillar. I'm gonna break the line of sight of these majors, and because the Manticore is occupying the entire space of the pillar, they're gonna be forced to move towards me. Yeah, they're gonna be forced to move towards me. So like that. This guy can't see me. I'm gonna move up a little more. Okay. So in terms of what we're talking about collision, I'm gonna step on top of this major. It's gonna break his collision, and this guy should step right on top of him. So they're on top of each other. That's how collision works. So for example, okay. Oh, never mind. He stepped to the side for some reason. All right. Well, maybe I can showcase that some other time. I didn't know they couldn't be stepped on. I learned something new. Alright, we'll just kill him. I wonder if any of the other NPCs in the Colosseum do that. They like sidestep you. I guess they took that into account. I know there's a way to break their collision. I've seen people do it, but they did it by like putting items on the ground and stuff. Which, oh, I know how to do it. They red X into them. That's what they would do. That makes more sense. For the record, you don't normally need to red X on people. It's just Coliseum specific exception. Alright, I will fight the Manticore. Very nice. Be ready for the next wave. Blasphemy 2, Myopia 3, and Reentry. Again, same invocations that we've been picking. We'll go Myopia 3. So I'll go to line of sight plugin, reduce it by 2. There we go. Get ready. Spray. Myopia 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice spawn. Good freeze. Very nice. So, in this situation, I'm actually going to wait. I'm not going to attack any of these guys yet. I'm going to wait until the 40-minute mark of the wave starting, because the first 40 seconds of every wave, reinforcements arrive. So 40 seconds happen. The Minotaur arrived as reinforcements. If you don't have it already, download the Coliseum plugin. That will show you the timer of how long you're taking in the waves. That way you have an idea of when the reinforcements are going to arrive. It also shows you which enemies are going to appear in that wave too. The highlighted ones, those are the reinforcements. So I knew the Minotaur was going to pop up as reinforcements because of it. But yeah, in this situation, it's better for me to just wait for the reinforcements to arrive so I can deal with them first. And it makes dealing with the stacks a lot easier. Very nice. Okay, so from here, there's a couple ways you could do this. The easier method that I've found recently is to actually go to this tile over here, to go to the diagonal pillar. I find that to be a little bit more, not only easier, but a little bit more consistent with dealing with 3 stacks like this, compared to going to the tile that I have over here. This tile used to be the tile that I used to use all the time. It still works, don't get me wrong, but it's a little riskier. So I usually just opt in to go way over here these days. That's something I did not showcase in my video. So whenever I go for runs like this, I always put on my tank gear. Because my gear right here is super heavily geared towards range defense, I'm gonna be praying magic. And I'll be praying magic, and then I'll be praying like either rigor or augury or piety. Rigor or piety, just for that defense boost. That way I'm pretty unlikely to be hit by the ranger, and I'm praying mage so I won't get hit by the major either. And on the off chance that you have a manticore that's already charged up, you'll at the very least have a good chance of not getting hit by his attacks. You won't get hit by the mage attack because you're praying against it, and depending, assuming your defense is pretty high, like in my situation, there's a good chance that I won't get hit very much by the range or melee attack from the manticore. Again, depends on your gear and your levels. Again, your levels matter more than your gear in terms of reducing the amount of damage you take. And Barrows is more than good enough. Guthans is really good for tanking armor if you need to go budget. Anyways, though. Over here. So he's actually mage, which is good to know. And all right, looks like we're gonna 1v1 the manticore. Oh my god, I forgot about this bug. So there's a bug with Myopia 3 in the Coliseum where if your range doesn't have a line of sight with their true tile, for some reason it just doesn't shoot. And I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. So like if I step over here, now I can shoot them. It doesn't make any sense to me. That used to not be in the game before they made changes to the Coliseum, and that like broke that for some reason. Myopia messed that up. It's really annoying, and they still haven't fixed it. And it's only Myopia 3. Myopia 2 and 1 are perfectly fine. They work normal. It's just 3 for some reason. So as soon as I kill this guy, I have to remember to step away because of volatility. Of course I land a 1. Oh, now I can hit him? That doesn't make any sense. That was weird. Alright, now I can just 1v1 these guys. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is that if you're ever in a situation like this where you only have one dude left, you were at a different pillar way off in Narnia, okay? And you're worried about, can I make it to the start, to my starting tile by the time of the next wave? Just, what you can do is go to a different pillar. I just like to go to this pillar, hide behind the pillar. It breaks his line of sight and he's forced to walk towards you. Now he's a lot closer to your starting tile. And now you can actually reposition a lot easier, appropriately for the next wave. One thing I recommend against the Javelin guy is, for the longest time, it was a real pain in the ass trying to get used to this Javelin strike that he's doing, this aerial strike. You have to watch his actual attack animation. Don't wait for sound cues. Don't watch for the air for it to come down. Just watch him, because there he is. That's it right there. Because for some reason, Jagas decided to have his normal attack look almost identical to his throwing attack. And it's very confusing if you're not paying attention. So just pay attention to his animation. There it is right there. If it helps as well, he does the attack every 4 attacks. So even if you are not paying attention to him, you can kind of keep a mental note of how many attacks he does, and you're like, all right, I know he's gonna do it now. It's a little nugget of knowledge right there. What do we got? All right, we got Volatility 3, Blasphemy 2, and Red Flag. Out of these 3, I'm gonna choose Volatility 3. Why? Because it's free. Long story short, it's just free. Again, I try to save Blasphemy 2 for as long as possible. That way, I don't have to worry about prayer restore for later waves. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a ranger. Oop. I got a major on me. That's gonna be a little annoying. Oh, I kind of forgot about this. I'll have to keep a mental note of it next time. So, I completely forgot. What's my reinforcement Minotaur? Okay, that's not too bad. So the Minotaur is a 3x3 character. So I can actually step 1 tile away from my pillar and I will be okay when the Minotaur shows up. Normally, I wouldn't be able to go 1 tile away if it was the first half of the waves where the Jaguar Warrior pops up. But because of how big the Minotaur is, it's okay. So I'm actually going to heal off the Minotaur. But yeah, so what I was trying to say before is that if I have Volatility 3 on, I actually changed my approach on how I freeze the Fremenix. I completely forgot to do it this time, but I'll do it for the next wave. Oh, good. What I'll usually do is, instead of freezing them right here like I normally like to do, I'll actually freeze them down here instead. So that way I can go up to here, burst them down, and I'll still be safe from how the NPCs spawn and like path towards me. Because the problem is that if I'm down here for, well, I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. The problem is that obviously if I freeze them right here, if I stand down here too long, enemies will path this way a little bit more and not get trapped behind the pillar as much, which obviously makes it riskier for me. And then obviously too, if I just stand here with the Fremenix as they're frozen, I'll get hit by Volatility, which is also not good. So just freeze them down here, and then you can stand up here freely. All right, so it's not the end of the world though if you mess up like I did right here, because you still usually have enough room to do whatever it is you need to do. So we got an annoying 3-stack. I'm just gonna go to this tile all the way in the corner again. That is what I'm gonna do. Again, I'm gonna pray Mage and Piety. I'm gonna take some damage from this lava pool, but it's fine. I think I'm gonna end up fighting the Major. Yeah. Again. Can I get him now? No. That's... I don't understand why it does that. It's so weird. I'm just healing off him a little bit. There we go. Now we'll go to Shadow. I'm gonna get ready to step away because Volatility's on. There we go. Alright. So... you know what? I'm gonna fight the Manticore. I'm gonna fight the Manticore first. Get the most annoying one out of the way. Nice. I'm gonna reposition back to my starting tile. We'll weave in some attacks in there. I'm gonna force him closer. Again, hide behind the pillar, break line of sight, force him towards you. Now I can take him on. Alright, wave 9. We have Blasphemy 2, Bees, and Manti Mayhem. This is why I like to save Blasphemy for later on if I can help it. For stuff like this. So in this situation, I can choose Blasphemy 2. I would be okay with that. Because I would rather I definitely don't want Bees, and I'd rather avoid Manti Mayhem if I can help it. I could probably do Manti Mayhem. I just try to avoid it if I can help it. So keep in mind we have what? 3 waves left? 9, 10, 11 before we reach the boss. So Blasphemy 2 and 3 are basically free invocations for me. So all I have to really worry about is whatever my third invocation is going to be within those 3 waves. So I can effectively use Blasphemy as like a reroll on those other waves. So obviously I don't like Bees and Manti Mayhem, so I'll pick Blasphemy 2 this time. Lets me reroll for next wave to try and get another invocation that I actually like. So I can pick that one, and then for wave 11, I could probably pick Blasphemy 3. In which case, I'm all set for the boss fight. I just gotta hope I don't get shitty invocations for the boss fight. All right, let's saturated heart. Now keep in mind for this wave 9, this is one of the wave 9 and 10 are some of the harder ones, because this is where you start getting double lions and it can start messing people up. Double lions by nature will not shoot at the exact same time. So for example, you know how they charge up first and then they shoot their triple attack? They will charge up at the same time, but they will not shoot their triple attacks at the same time. They'll actually wait for one to finish attacking first before the next one attacks. So that helps out a lot. So instead of like prayer flicking one line, then waiting like 6 seconds before you need to do it again, it's actually going to be like constant back-to-back prayer flicking, assuming you're fighting both at the same time. So that's how that would work. I don't know if we'll end up seeing it, but I guess we'll find out. Alright, Blasphemy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, we got a good spawn. Oh, I fucked up. Forgot that I needed to freeze him down here. I'm just trying to manipulate the explosions real quick. There we go. A little scuffed, but I mean, it worked. I got so caught up in the explanations, I completely forgot about needing to freeze them down here starting off instead of my usual initiation. Why am I splashing so much? There we go. Bro. There we go. I was about to say, like, I am just not landing hits or getting healed. Missed the timing of that. It works. Again, I'm far enough away from Volatility. All right, so in this case, there's a Manticore in the back, which, by the way, I saw on my minimap. I always like to make sure my minimap is zoomed out just enough so I can see people getting stuck by, by accident or whatever. I have had waves where, like, I'll kill these people up front, but because I'm so zoomed in, I don't see the dude way back there, so I'll like go to my starting tile waiting for the next wave to start, but then they just come out of nowhere and start hitting me. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck? So being able to see them on the minimap definitely helps out a lot for those situations. All right, I'm gonna 1v1 the Javelin first. That's easier. So actually this is a good situation to talk about. So if you guys remember from what I described about how pathing works, where they will go towards you based off their true tile, their brain. Okay, this is a perfect example of why it's good to know that type of stuff. Because, so in this situation, I can 1v1 either one of these guys, right? But one of them is actually better to 1v1 than the other for a specific reason. And it's because of this Manticore in the back. So if I were to 1v1 the Javelin guy right here, what would happen to this guy? He would shift over to the right one and he would still be stuck, right? However, if I try to stand here and 1v1 the Manticore, what would happen? Well, his true tile would go all the way over here because it's lining up with me, and he would actually get free of the pillar and he would start coming down. And now I got 2 Manticores to worry about instead of just 1. That's why it's good to know like that type of stuff. So in this situation, it's better for me to fight the Javelin, the Ranger, first, kill him, so that way it frees up this space he's occupying. The Manticore will shift over, and then I can 1v1 this Manticore. Then once they're both dead, I can go 1v1 this last Manticore. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. All right, he's dead. Manticore will shift over. We'll fight him now. Sorry, oops. Ooh, that hurt. I didn't click the prayer. I didn't move my mouse as far as I thought I did. Dumb mistakes like that is why I like to prolong leveling up Blasphemy as much as I can, so I can save as much in my prayer. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Cool. So again, just to showcase what I meant, had I gone over here to fight the Manticore, he gets free and he comes down. That's what would have happened if I tried to fight this Manticore initially. And it would have been a little bit tougher to try and fight against. Very nice. Again, look at this. Exactly what I said. Blasphemy 3, and I actually like Dynamic Duo. So I'm going to pick Dynamic Duo here. That's going to be my free one for this one. It's actually free for this wave. Because we don't have any majors. We don't have any majors this wave. So this literally does nothing this wave. It will affect wave 11 though, which is worth noting. But wave 11, hopefully Blasphemy 3 pops up again, which is a good chance that it will. And it'll effectively be a free invocation. What's my loot so far, out of curiosity? Alright. Dynamic Duo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good spawns. Oh, I made the same mistake again. Forgot about volatility. I can still deal with it just fine. I'm gonna wait for the reinforcements to show up, which is a major and a minotaur. There they are. Let's step out here. Let's kill the minotaur. The minotaur does heal the other enemies, so you typically want to try and kill the minotaur first, if you can. It is worth noting, though, that the minotaur only heals enemies within 6 tiles of his true tile. So if you break his LOS, like, for example, if the minotaur was stuck over here, but there was another enemy over here, the pillar would be breaking his line of sight from this guy. So even though this guy would be within line of sight, or not line of sight, within 6 tiles, he would not be within line of sight, and he wouldn't get healed by the minotaur. So little niche things that are good to know. Very nice. All right, now I can fight and do these guys. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. This is an interesting situation. I got 2 rangers and 2 manticores. I got 2 I got 2 ways I could solve this. And I believe both ways would cause me to fight 2 people at the same time. So it's a matter of how do I want to make it so I fight the same 2 people at the same time. I think that's going to be a good one. So the thing about this 3-stack tile is that it makes it so that I 1v1 the dude in the front. So I would be fighting a Javelin. Chances are I might end up fighting this Manticore as well. And I don't know what they're going to be charged up with. Because if they start off using magic, I don't want to say I'm screwed, but that would definitely mess things up quite a lot. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is using this this tile right here that I don't use as much anymore. And what will end up happening is I'll pray range, because these guys will end up needing to charge up first, the manticores, which gives me some wiggle room as they're moving. I'll pray range, stand over here. All 4 of these guys will come out over here. I'm gonna get the Javelin guys, the rangers, stuck behind the pillar, which makes it so that just the manticores are able to fight me, which makes it a lot easier. So I'll just have to deal with the constant prayer flicking against them, which isn't as bad. That's doable. It's annoying, but it's doable. Okay. For range. Starting off with magic. There it is. Ooh, I might actually... Maybe I would have 1v1 the ranger, actually. Oh yeah. Ah, that worked out. He's gonna die here. There we go. I was about to step this way just in case, so I don't get hit by explosion by accident. Now, as soon as he dies, I just have to start off praying mage. So, did not see him throw that. Pray mage. And now we can move on. Very nice. Now we can get this guy. I'm actually gonna force him over to this pillar. There we go. That way I can stand closer to the starting tile. Very nice. All right, wave 11. We did not... Oh, wait, this is wave 11. Okay, so we got Blasphemy 3 like we wanted. So, free invocation, pick it. God damn, that's a lot of Sunfire's shards. Holy crap. 1.5 mil worth. Jesus. How much loot do I have? Damn. Let's give you like 3 mil worth of loot. All right. So now we have double lions, double majors, and a ranger. So this is going to be the wave that there's a good chance that I get bad spawns on A and B. Very good chance. I could get lucky and get 2 of the same on A and B. If they're different though, I'm probably gonna have to whatchamacallit, transition to a different pillar. So this is gonna be where RNG pretty much matters. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna use the bathroom now. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Dun, 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 dun. All right, ready? Use Sakurai. So for this, I just need to be ready at a moment's notice to put on my tank gear and just book it. That's gonna be the big thing. All right, let's see what happens. 2, 3, 4, 5. What do I get? All right, this is actually... Oh no, this is bad spawns. Oh boy. I got manticores on me. Fucking hell, dude. Oh my god. This is terrible. I told you this was gonna be the wave that like makes or breaks it. Fuck. This is terrible, bro. This is so bad. Oh my god.
Oh no! Oh no!
Fucking hell. All right, at least we got them controlled now. Holy shit. My lord. Jesus Christ. And that's how easily things can just go south. Holy crap. All right, we're actually in a dilemma here because the Manticore is right there. I think... Can I actually hit him from there? Oh, fuck.
It must be a glitch. It must be.
Oh, wait. Damn. Well, I fucked up there. That just goes to show you how easy it is, though, to mess up. Oh, that was so rough. God, that spawn was just so bad. Okay, we got volatility. Nice. All right. Are we gonna get the crappy spawns again? That's the question. Volatility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we actually don't. What is that?
It must be a glitch, yeah? It must be.
I can't believe I did that. I anticipated it. I fucking anticipated it instead of reacting to it. I was completely solid. That was a free wave. I'm so mad at myself. Oh my god. Oh well. That sucks. Just goes to show shit happens, I guess.